All right, legends, have a look at this. So King Charles has become the first patron of the UK Jewish security group CST, which stands for the Community Security Trust. Founded or headed up by such criminals as Sir Gerald Ronson, who we're going to come on and look at. My question is, this comes in addition to finding out that a certain community have their own ambulance service and they have their own police force in this country. But my question is, where was King Charles when it came to speaking out about the rape gangs and standing up for all those children that have been abused? And where was he when it came to speaking out about the stabbings that are going on inside our schools? Why is it when a certain community says jump, every single cretinously lily-livered wimp in this country, or allegedly leading this country, says how high? Let's get into it. Hello legends, how are we doing? I hope this finds you phenomenal on this, our journey through paradise. And if you're not quite feeling it, hang in there, because there is always light at the end of the tunnel and everything is meant to be exactly the way that it should be. You might be wondering why I'm wearing the label on my brand new top, which I bought for £14, reduced from 40 in Go Outdoors. I'm wearing this, folks, because I just wanted to thank all those wonderful people out there. Let me just cut that off so I don't look a bit of a knob. All those people out there that have supported my Everest summit climb, which begins next week when I fly to Nepal. As you know, I'm going to summit Mount Everest, and I'm going to use my platform and my podcast appearances and media appearances. And don't forget, folks, I got 200,000 people on social media, and I'm going to be shouting from the roof of the world, why are we not talking about complex PTSD, which for the most part begins in childhood, from traumatic childhood experiences, when we lose so many people to suicide in the veterans community. It's just never talked about. As such, as you know, Craig, who was supposed to be rowing the Atlantic with us last year, took his own life after leaving a horrendous suicide note on Facebook. Craig was a super lad. He was loved by everybody that knew him. So work out, how can you get into such a dark space where you think that you're better off out of it? I'll tell you. Childhood trauma, isn't it? Adverse childhood experiences that formulate our mind from such a young age that it then becomes difficult to shake those beliefs. So I just restoring the chat there. And then, of course, my buddy Dave, who I shared a room with in the Northern Ireland conflict. Dave took his own life when we returned. I can assure you it wasn't to do with our experience over there, even though it was quite hairy at times. Again, we got to think complex PTSD, folks. And then, as I showed you, my friend Lee, very super guy, left left the Marines as a sergeant major. I believe he took his own life the very next day and left his 4 children behind. And as you can see there, he's got a copy of my book, my second memoir. That's how lovely he was, folks. He used to ring me up and we'd chat about life. I was always quite chuffed, really, because, you know, I'm not afraid to speak about the reality of the forces, am I, or what their function really is. I mean, let's be honest, unless you've been asleep since 9/11 or you don't understand the Rothschild banking dynasty, you're not really going to understand, are you? I've never been backwards in coming forward. And the fact that these guys in the Corps think the world of me is very incredibly special. So if you can help me, folks, to start highlighting this using my platform. Everest has cost an awful lot of money. It costs an awful lot more after what I spent in Go Outdoors today, just getting some final bits and pieces before I fly to Kathmandu. If you can support us with a $5, folks, that would be absolutely wonderful. Some of you have donated an awful lot more, including Richard White there. Look, £2,000, you absolute legend. Richard, if you can email me so we can have a phone call, that would be phenomenal, brother, please. Thank you. And also, we've got Vicky Mumford there who donated £5 yesterday. David Ransom, Alexandra, Raymond Langley. I know a lot more people donated yesterday after the show. I'll say thank you when your names come up in my email. But come on, folks, it's £5. What's that? The price of a cup of coffee these days. That's going to enable me to summit that mountain and just use my platform to save as many lives as possible. Because if you don't know what adverse childhood, how can you start healing? You know? How can you start healing? You know, I remember being dumped on a pavement 300 miles away from home. My dad jumping out of the car, hugging me, saying, "I love you, son, but I can't be with you." And hopping in the car and just driving off. I thought, that's the last time I'm going to see my dad. I was like 6 years old. You know, that ain't right, is it? You know, and that's the stuff that went on that I can tell you. The rest of it, I'm not prepared to talk about. But you know, I think you can imagine. So, £5, folks. Come on, it's nothing. There's going to be a link in the description box below, and there's a link in the comment section. And just remember what I always say: everything is a satanic inversion. You have been brainwashed to think that money, which is currency, a form of energy, electricity, currency, you've been brainwashed to think that you have to keep hold of it like Scrooge. And, you know, what's yours is yours and what's mine's me own. Fuck off. Right? It's the other way, folks. It's when you take action, when you give out to the universe, you get back tenfold. So I just thought I'd mention that. Right. Can we like and subscribe, you absolute legends? That would be wonderful. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Saxon David's got a question. Do you feel stupid now that you know you were fighting for the Jews? David, take a little word of advice from someone that I'm guessing is probably a bit older than you. What you write in comment sections is a reflection of yourself. It's not a reflection on other people. Joining the Royal Marines as an extremely damaged young man was probably the greatest experience I had. It truly was my coming home. Doesn't mean I agree with the Illuminati wars and the fact that they recruit damaged young men into the military to do. Of course it doesn't. But no, absolutely don't regret it at all. And if I hadn't done it, I wouldn't now be one. wouldn't say one of the country's top YouTubers, but I've certainly got a bit of a platform, haven't I, in which to, you know, speak my piece, as it were. So, no, in short, I don't regret it at all. And I hope anyone watching, you don't have any regrets for your life. Sure, looking back, we could have done things differently. But remember, everything is for a reason. Everything will make sense in the end. Okay, coming on, I just wanted to cover a bit. You know, yesterday we looked at the octocode again, didn't we? We looked at this code in Hollywood that's used by the people that harm minors. You know the individuals I'm referring to. I flagged up this part of the Disclosure Day video. Jack, you absolute legend, thank you. Jack's just chipped in 20 quid in the chat. You made my evening, brother, thank you. So this is the Disclosure Day. If you think of the director, the person who's directing this film, and you think of what Isaac Cappy said about him, then you can start to understand there's a dark network going on here. And this dark network, just like any secret society, communicate through certain words, symbols, colours and numbers. In the octocode, it's the number 8, and it's the colour, for the most part, red and yellow. Using certain symbology, for example, the red-nosed clown toys. Those of you that remember E.T. will know what I'm talking about. And this is another one. It's the upside down child. When a child's featured upside down, that is the you-know-who's giving a nudge and a wink to each other that their network is going strong. And there's another one here, wasn't there? I don't know if I can find it. It's the buck symbolism. Oh, there we go. When you see the buck symbolism, we flashed up 4 films yesterday that have these deer attacking children, these buck deer attacking traumatizing children. This is what this lot get off on. It's pretty serious, folks. And just so you can, if you want the link for this, go to yesterday's video. I put it below in the description box to this forum that I'm going to show you now. Here's the CERN collider. Remember, it's called the octocode. So the octagon is heavily featured. This is CERN. There's their octagon-shaped portal. And, of course, what colour? You've got the red and you got the yellow. Moving on, there's all this kind of stuff you're going to see in the public sphere. Diamond. Why do the celebrities do diamond? It's because diamond in gematria reduces to 33. 33, highly occultic number for both good and bad. For example, it's my favourite number. But if you think 3 and the 3, you think the Star of David. Highly powerful. That's why they leave their 33 signature code over all these global events, you could say, where something goes bang, or bang, 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 in the case of that gambling place that time. That's why they leave their signature code 33 on it. There'll be an ambulance there that's number 33, or the fire brigade or whatever. Moving on, Lucifer. Liam Gallagher, he's got an album where he lights a book of matches right in the beginning. It's because a book of matches in the early days was called Lucifers. Matches were called Lucifers. Here's a production with Jay-Z and Kanye. All of this doesn't need explaining. I mean, I would say, why would anyone get the all-seeing eye tattooed on them when it only means one thing, especially when you're a celebrity? But funny enough, one of the people I love the most on this planet has got the Eye of Horus tattooed on them, and I can assure you they're not in the Illuminati. They're not bright enough, to be honest. So all the symbolism that we know, there we go, is Eminem, who incidentally, I love Eminem, but you know, you got to see what function these guys. Imagine we need a dancer. Yeah, we need someone who's spent their whole life dedicated to the performing arts, has got to the absolute top of their profession, is idolized by thousands in the music industry and the wider public. And we want you to be rogered by the devil. No, fuck all that dancing shit. We don't need that for this video. We want you to be bummed. Crazy, isn't it? Look, there's the Nike, the swoosh, the ring of Saturn. Why is that important? Well, this lot, they belong to the cult of Saturn, or you may hear it referred to as the Sabbatean Frankists, or the Black Cube cult, hence all the black cubes everywhere.
The Black Cube and its connection to Saturn aren't just symbolic curiosities. They're part of a hidden system of belief that's been quietly shaping cultures, religions, and power structures for thousands of years.
There you go. Crazy, isn't it? So, where were we? Yeah, we was looking at the symbolism, but who remembers Chitty Chitty Bang Bang was like everyone's favourite, no, I wouldn't say favourite. I think it's probably the movie that traumatised more, as many adults that was traumatised by Jaws. And remember who directed Jaws, folks. Everything ties back in. I think weren't all of us kids traumatised by Chitty Chitty Bang Bang? The notion that there was this land where kids were locked down in, underground caves because they should be not seen and not heard. And then the child catcher was just blah. And who played the child catcher at the London Olympic opening ceremony? It was Russell Brand, wasn't it? And he was atop a bus, and locked in the bus were all the spiritual people, the kind of hippie-ish, which is kind of weird, wasn't it? It was almost sort of saying that someone's role is to capture the spiritual people and, maybe lead them down another path. So let's have a look. So what do we see immediately? This contributor here, Octavator, is absolutely brilliant. You can see he's got the code, the octagon, and he's got it in red and yellow because he knows his stuff, this guy. Immediately, what does chit mean? Chit is it's 1620s English, and it means small child. So chit. And bang, slang meaning to have I'm just going to say to have intercourse. And you look at the colour on the car, and you see the black and the red. There's a load of stuff here. This guy, wasn't it? Oh my God. So what colour is lollipops going to be? There we go. They're going to be yellow and red, aren't they? And can you see the phallic symbolism in this? Yes, this is, I know it, to you and I, this seems a bit silly, but remember, we're not, psychotic perverts, folks. So it should seem silly to you. Look at the colours of the flowers on his hat. It's the red and the yellow. Yes. There you go. Look, phallic symbolism. How many people... note the hat design. The hat design. So, Willy Wonka? Willy Wonka as in meaning something else, isn't it? It means yes. They wear these top hats. It's another part of the old MK Ultra occult cabal programming. There's Marilyn with his symbolism. That means boy lover, doesn't it? That one there. And so on and so forth. Oh, there it is. I hadn't scrolled down this far, but not surprising. Yes. And there's the symbols on the Wonka factory. So, there we go. If you didn't know this already, hopefully you're a little bit wiser that everything we're living in at the minute is a satanic inversion, folks. It's not a bad thing. That's why we follow our spiritual battle, because you need to wake up every day in paradise in no matter what stormy seas you find yourself. That is the definition of spiritual battle. That's the whole point of it, is evil will always rear its head and you cannot let it take you down. You've got to keep your vibration high, your energy up, and keep putting out the good message and being a good person to be around, especially for yourself. So that's that. Right, moving on to this Charlie nonsense. Can we like and subscribe, folks? We've got a lot of people watching, which is absolutely brilliant. I thank each and every one of you for spending a bit of your Saturday evening with me. I'm not going to go on too long because I, for one, have got a plant-based pizza on the way from, I should give them a shout out. I can't remember their name though. It will come to me. But if you can like and subscribe, folks, that would be awesome. Yes, this thing. So my question, and forgive me if the title today was a bit clicky, folks. My whole point is, right, so what is the CST? It's the Community Security Trust. So I'm just going to tell you, to keep this short, what it is. So this is an unelected pressure stroke steering group pushing the whole yawn antiseptic narrative for who? Oh yes, Mossad. Of course, they're all assets for Mossad. It's kind of mental. And the reason it's mental is I ask you this question, and I don't apologise for the title today, folks, for this reason, simply. That is your king. You tell me when Bibi Netanyahu would dress up with a cross around his neck if he went and go into a Christian church. Tell me how popular he'd be as Prime Minister over in the old stolen place. They wouldn't last 5 minutes. There'd be an absolute hell to pay. And yet in this sick, depraved country where they're all in cahoots with the cabal, we're supposed to accept this as normal, and we're supposed to accept that our Prime Minister doesn't go to church on his family's holy day. They go to the synagogue. And incidentally, this is not bashing any one of the Judaic faith out there whatsoever. If anything, I'm asking you, what do you not think this is weird that this is going on? You know, I know some of you think you're a bit special and you like to play the old victim game. That's years of indoctrination and fabricated, narratives, can we say. But this isn't doing you any, the fact that he hasn't investigated the grooming gangs, or the fact our kids are stabbing themselves in the schools. But as soon as this crops up, this Mossad pressure group, bang, he's straight on to become the patron straight away. It's mental beyond belief. And it just shows you that their bloodlines all go back to the, they all are one. To give you a little bit more information, the reality, it's supposed to be so. Let me just read this. Convicted fraudster and Zio, Sir Gerald Ronson is the founder of the UK's flagship anti-septic watchdog, the Community Security Trust. Ronson appears in the Epstein files. He's listed among individuals a potential cooperating witness believes he had some involvement with Maxwell and Epstein. He's also in leaked documents as a funder of war criminal Benjamin Netanyahu's political campaign, alongside Wexner, who's a co-conspirator of Jeffrey Epstein. So Ronson was convicted for his role in the Guinness scandal, and he served 6 of 12 months and paid a $5 million fine in 1990, and then was awarded a CBE. Honestly, don't know how that works. In 2024, he was knighted, so he's now a Sir. So you're knighting people that literally have no allegiance to this country. Their allegiance is to their Zio New World Order. This is your royalty for you folks who dish out these knighthoods. In reality, the Community Security Trust is a Mossad-linked lobby group with 2,000 trained volunteers and personnel, works closely with the police, regional, local levels, including joint patrols and data sharing, and it cooperates with the Shorim, which is the aforementioned police force. I won't go any more on that, folks, least not to say that Double Down News, they're not afraid in...
Dutch boy, and then, of course, poor Alice Porter.
They're not afraid in speaking out about a few things. They tread carefully, obviously, but...
What it is an absolutely case study, a textbook study in disinformation. Now, let's make our focus here a very specific bit of footage. If you watch, certainly the initial reports from the BBC, The Guardian, CNN and other outlets, they all rely very heavily on a specific bit of footage of individuals in the street being attacked by a mob of hooded men.
Crowds of people assaulted Israeli fans after Thursday night's match.
Israel said that Israeli supporters were attacked in a very violent incident as they left the ground.
Vicious attacks upon people purely because they're Israelis and Jews.
This was continuously used to illustrate the violence that Maccabi Tel Aviv supporters had suffered. The Times of India even went so far as to refer to it as Israeli nationals abducted in Hamas-style attack. Now, that footage was shot by a local citizen journalist called Annette de Graaf, who I've spoken to quite a bit over the last few days. Her footage does not show Israeli fans being attacked at all. In fact, it shows the precise opposite. The mobs of hooded figures we see in that footage are Maccabi Tel Aviv fans. If you look very carefully at Annette's footage, you can see that a number of individuals are wearing blue and yellow, which are the...
Just fast forward this a bit. Yeah. Okay, right. I showed that enough of that, didn't I? Okay, folks. That's it. I think I've said enough. I'm going to just shoot over to locals for a quick hello and say all the things over there that I can't say on this platform, unfortunately. There's the locals link there. christhrall.locals.com. If you want the spiritual battle, folks, if you want to understand, Moses is the Old Testament pineal gland. Jesus is the New Testament, the land of milk and honey, serotonin, DMT. In order to get there, you've got to elevate your consciousness, earth, water, air, fire. So you have got to cross your Red Sea, red being your emotional barrier. Then get over to locals, because life's too short not to be spiritually enlightened, folks. and wake up every day in paradise. Massive thank you to the chat that's been massive thank you to the chat that's been flying away. Can I just say thank you here to Jack, who's upgraded, Jacka Huahua. Jacka, thank you for upgrading your membership. That's absolutely kind of you. You absolute legend. And thank you also for the donation towards my Everest. That's really generous of you. What I've done, folks, I've upgraded the credits for the people that support me. Is it I can't remember, is it Brave and above? It's £5 a month, as opposed to those of you that pay £3. So all your names are now in the credits after this. Unfortunately, all the podcasts that you're going to watch while I'm away on Everest, which could be 45, could be 60 days, that's the old lot of credits. So please don't be disheartened. It's just I didn't have time to go and edit every single podcast that I've got in the bag. So that's it, folks. I'm going to play those credits after I played my Everest video. If everyone can like and subscribe, that would be awesome. Thanks to everyone that supported my upcoming summit, which will start next Thursday. Thank you for buying me this top. I really appreciate it, because I can't afford, no way I could afford to do this on my own, folks. I've borrowed a lot of money from someone who loves me a lot, and I fully intend to pay it back. So if you can help me with a £5, folks, that'd be awesome. If you can help us with anything more, that too would be awesome. So yeah, let's get over to locals. Much love.
Morning, legends. I'm Chris Thrall. I'm a former Royal Marines commando. Upon leaving the forces, ended up chronically mentally unwell, self-medicating, undiagnosed trauma, and homeless on the streets of Hong Kong. It was the toughest battle I ever had to fight, but without the support of the medical community, without self-help groups, I learned the answers to rebuild my life, go on to complete a series of extreme charity challenges to send a vital message out there for other veterans who are struggling. I've run the length of the United Kingdom, run across the Sahara Desert, rode across the Atlantic Ocean. Now I'm taking on my biggest challenge yet, climbing Mount Everest. If you can support me, friends, and continue to shine a light for our struggling veterans and let them know that is life after PTSD, I'll put a link below. Can spare a £5? That's absolutely fine. And let's give our veterans the respect that they deserve. Much love.
No matter